chapter in our journey in life. And that is the beauty of it all is that every day, every stage, every month, every year is a new chapter. That's how you need to look at it. That life is not finite and this is just what happens. This is just what we're going through. No, we build, we grow, we transform, we evolve. And this is another stage in our evolution. And that evolution is year over year. This is a new year. Evolution is static in that it won't stop. Evolution will continue. So that's not the question. The question is, what will you be doing in your evolution? Will you be standing still? Would you be thinking and planning, over planning, or will you be taking action? Well, today, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about taking action and planning forward and planning for the future. And, I started the Financial Fitness Friday just a couple of weeks ago. And this, I hope to be a great addition to my, masterpiece motivational series where I'm just encouraging people that they can do better, they can be better, and giving small tools, practical tools that can be put into action to help someone do better and be better. That's what it's all about. So let's get into it. Let me put my stuff together. So today is actually going to be the second half of last week's session. Last week's session was the first stage to investing, and that was part one. I was told by my producer that it was a lot. I didn't think it was a lot, but as I took time to think about it, I can see how it could be a lot. It could be a lot of information. It can be, to a certain extent, information overload. But what I'm trying to do now is just really lay down the foundation. We're not going into financial strategies. We're not going into certain components of investing, equity options. We're not doing all that. That's for sophisticated investing. This is the first stage to investing. This is the very basic. This is getting in the mindset. If you're not a person, if you're not an individual who are investing in the market, then this is an introduction just to do that, to think about it, to research it, little information on how to get those things going and to move in that direction. There's nothing wrong with it. As I mentioned last week, the statistics are that less than 25% of all Americans are invested in the stock market. Now, let me be clear with that. Less than 25% of all Americans are making direct investment into the stock market, whereas more than 65% of Americans are invested in the stock market via 401k, retirement accounts, mutual funds, and managed funds, and things of that nature, but not directly. So there's nothing wrong with expanding or creating a portfolio. There's nothing wrong with getting your feet wet into investing, and let this be another option in your financial toolkit. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the first stage to investing and some tools that you can have and use in pursuing that. If you missed the first part, which was last week, I always post my sessions on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. D.E. Wilder 1 on YouTube. Check it out. Today is the second part of that. And now we're moving forward. As I mentioned, every session is leveling up. We're compounding, like investing, on top of what we already done, what we already know, what we already learned. So let's get into that. So welcome to another session of Financial Fitness Friday with D.E. Wilder. I am D.E. Wilder, and I thank you for joining me. I hope that anything that I'm saying, some tools, some ideas, help somebody along the way. This is Financial Fitness Friday, financial fitness for your future. And as I mentioned, this is the first stage to investing. First stage to investing, cultivating a future planning mindset. Now, if you was with me last week, which if you wasn't, that's fine. But if you was, you know that I was laying down the foundation for mindset. I didn't give any financial strategies. I didn't give any investments tips. That's not what we're going to do. What we're going to do is get in the mindset of what the importance are in planning for the future and how to create the tools to do that. How to create the toolkit, how to create your financial go bag. That's another session, but that's what we're going to be talking about. Everything is about creating that financial go bag because it's all about preparation and being prepared come what may. First stage to investing, and this is, as I mentioned, the second half of the session. Today, we're focusing on tools, trust, and the power of consistent action. If you was with me last week, you know that the key was consistency in anything you do, staying consistent. So now we're going to focus on going from intention to implementation, which is easier said than done. So we've done the inner work. We talked about the mindset aspect of this. You shift the mindset, and now we're focusing on, okay, this is what I need to do, and this is the type of planning and consistency I need to have. We got the mindset. Now comes the moment many people stumble and pause. Because knowing what to do is one thing. Trusting yourself enough to do it, well, that's an entirely different story. And so let's get into this. Trusting yourself enough to do what you need to do is what you're going to need in your toolkit to be consistent and to be focused. The second half is not about complexities. It's really about clarity. Today, we will have a simple tool. So we're going to simplify the tools and steady the nerves. We're going to build confidence through consistency, because this is where intention becomes practice. Let's go to work. The simplicity of investing. Let's think about that for a second. How do we simplify that process when it can be so complicated? Well, let's create the simplicity of beginners' tools, because no matter what we do, what kind of strategy we create, we need tools. So let's remove the intimidation of it all. Beginners investing does not require dozens of accounts and slew of transactions, nor does it require constant trading or daily market watching. I would strongly recommend against that. Do not want to do that. It requires structure and simplicity. So here are beginner-friendly investing options. So as I mentioned before, how the numbers are so low with individual investing, direct investing in the market, but the numbers are slightly higher, over 50% of Americans, as it relates to managed funds and retirement funds, because that is the safe bet. That is the safe way to go. That is a good way to start in getting invested and getting into investing and getting your feet wet. In employers sponsored retirement account, which otherwise is known as a 401k, or an individual retirement account, which is otherwise known as an IRA, a broad market index funds, managed funds, mutual funds, and having your funds with automated contributions. These are easy ways to get your feet wet and to get into investing. Automation should be considered your ally. It really should, because it removes the emotion from decision making. When investing becomes a routine, fear loses its grip. You don't have to second guess it so much. A simple system can protect and keep you with your consistency. So that's a very good way to do things with automation and automating a process. Automatic contributions, small contributions, because those small contributions builds, they become larger contribution. Consistency over time builds momentum. Choosing trust over timing. Many people delay investing while waiting for the right moment. But here's the truth. Here's the facts. The perfect time does not exist. Rarely is timing ever perfect. Market moves, life change, uncertainty is constant. But discipline and a disciplined investing isn't about timing the market. It's about the time in the market. So trust grows when you do things in time and over time. So you must commit to a schedule. Ignore the short-term noise. Focus on long-term outcome. You don't control the market. Nobody does. Well, they say we don't. You don't control the market, but you do control your behavior. And the behavior should compound, just like your investment compounds. That's a very good advice right there. Compounding your behavior over time and over time, and building consistency. This is where you're going to see results. Creating guardrails that protects your peace. So our mindset was focused on mindset is future focused investing. And in future focused investing, that includes creating boundaries which are healthy guardrails. And healthy guardrails look like not checking account dailies. As I mentioned, you don't have to look at it every day. Not reacting to the movement in the market, not reacting to headlines about the market, not comparing your journey to others. That's very important. Comparison creates pressure. Pressure leads to panic. Panic leads to poor decision making. And that's what we do not want to happen. We want to act in clarity and sound mind and judgment. So your plans does not need to look impressive. It just needs to be sustainable. Peace of mind unto itself is a strategy. That's where we're going. That's what we're going for. Measuring progress without obsession. Progress is not and should not be measured daily. Why do that? It's measured over seasons and time. So ask yourself. Ask better questions of yourself, rather. Am I consistent? Am I learning? Am I staying aligned with my goals? That's very important, because wealth is not built in bursts. It's built in patterns. Let the progress work. You have to allow the progress to work in time, and you're going to see the results in time. Your job is to stay present and committed and aligned with your plans and with your goals. So identity shift and how you become a solid investor. Here's the quiet transformation that is necessary. You don't wait to feel like an investor. You become one by acting like an investor. And investors act like and function like long-term thinking, respect timing and patience, make decisions with intentions. You see, identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes outcome. You no longer are trying. Now you're becoming. So walking with your future, walking with your plans. Take a moment, picture yourself, not stressed, not scrambling, but steady. Every small intentional step you take today creates relief for tomorrow. This is not about wealth alone. It's about dignity and peace, choice. Walk gently and trust the process. Most of all, stay consistent because your future is walking with you. Trust the process. So in our first stage of investing, we're going to go to the next level now. This is a little more complicated and complex aspect of investing. And that is risk, patience, and having a long-term view. For most people, risk and even the term risk scares them because most people don't want to take the risk. Who want to take the risk? But that's the reality of it. There's the underpinning of investing in an open market is there lies risk. And that's fact. You get a prospectus when you invest in any funds, and that prospectus will highlight, it will be bold, it will be in bold letters. You know, this is an investment and there is risk that comes with this investing. But what we want to do is reframe risk, reframing our mindset. Let's begin with the words that makes many people uncomfortable. As I just mentioned, risk. For most, risk feels like danger or loss or uncertainty. But in investing, risk is not something to fear. Risk is not the enemy. In fact, ignorance is much more dangerous than the risk. Because today's conversation is about learning how to stand calmly in uncertainties, without panic, without paralysis, without pressure. Because the goal of investing is not to avoid risk altogether. It is to manage it with wisdom. That's what we want to do. So, what is the truth about risk? Every meaningful future carries some level of uncertainty. Not investing unto itself is a risk. Playing the market is one thing, but not being in the market is just as much as risky as anything. Standing still is also a decision. Risk exists on many spectrums. Long-term decisions carry higher volatility. Long-term commitment reduce instability. Patience act as a stabilizer. So you got to be in it. The future planning mindset understands this. I don't need certainty to move forward. I need clarity and time. Risk is not chaos, but risk is motion. And motion, when guided, leads us somewhere. And that's what we want to do. Grow. We don't want to stand still. We want to lead. We want to be led somewhere. Patience as a financial discipline. Patience is not passive. It is an active restraint. It means not reacting emotionally, not chasing performance, not abandoning your plans at the first signs of discomfort. Patience allows you to have compounding results and allows for compounding to work. It allows mistakes to smooth out over time. It allows growth to happen quietly. So You don't pull a plant from the soil to check the roots and to check its process of growing. You wouldn't do that. That would just ruin the process. So you have to trust the process. You have to have trust in that process. Investing acts the same of you as with anything that takes time to grow. Zooming out to the long-term view. Short-term thinking creates anxiety. Long-term vision creates calm. When you zoom out, markets drop because moments happens. Not just disaster, but it fluctuates. Progress is measured in years, not days. Consistency outweighs perfection. The long-term view reminds you that this is not about winning today. This is about being prepared for tomorrow. And preparation unto itself is powerful. That's what we're doing, preparing for the future. Emotional resilience and self-trust. What does that mean? Investing teaches us emotional resilience. And you learn things, and you learn to sit with discomfort, because it's not going to always be comfortable. Trust the process, trust your plan, and detach from constant validation. Yes. Confidence doesn't come from certainty. It comes from self-trust. Trust that you prepared yourself. Trust that you've learned something. Trust that you can adapt. Trust that you are not just going by blind faith, but that you are grounded and you have a grounded belief in your strategy and in your goals. Now, here's something that everyone should be thinking about in their process of future planning, and that is having a mindset of legacy thinking. At its highest level, investing is legacy thinking. It's asking, what kind of future am I creating? Who benefits from my discipline? What stability can I pass forward? Legacy is not just wealth, it's wisdom, it's habit, it's perspective, it's the start of having patience to see something grow in time and over time. So for us to do that, we have to become steady, because patience is about being steady. You don't need to rush. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be steady and consistent. Steady in intention, steady in action, steady in trust. The future does not reward panic. It responds to patience. And patience is, in fact, strength. This is great. I hope it's not too much. I hope I'm not moving too fast. All I'm trying to do is just encourage and give some pointers and tools and saying there's a new year, new actions, new strategies, new mindset, and we can do things going forward that we may not have done in the past. Very simple. So moving on. First stage to investing. This is the second half of my session. Review, rebalance, and stay the course. The power of staying the course. This is the moment in every journey where the work is no longer about starting. We already start, but it's about staying with it in a quiet space, staying when it's boring, staying when it's no applause and no excitement and no urgency and no audience. This is the stage most people underestimate, because building wealth is not dramatic. In fact, it's deliberate. It's about maturity and about steadiness. It's about honoring the commitment that you made when you was just on the sideline watching. We were all there. But today we talk about review, rebalance, and the most important part, staying the course and being consistent. Why reviewing matters. Reviewing your investments is not about control, but it's simply about awareness. A healthy review will ask you things like, am I still aligned with my goals? Has my life changed? Always does. Has my risk tolerance shifted? It should. Reviewing these things is not reacting, but it's actually reflecting. It reminds you that investing is not set to forget about it and then let it be. That you have to come back to it and make sure that as your life change and as things change, your investment strategies, what you're doing, where you're doing it, how you're doing it, well, that changed too. It's set with intentions, and you have to be visited with wisdom. Now, you don't do this review daily, of course, but you review it seasonally, in time, over time, annually, calmly. Reviews keep you connected to what you're doing without becoming consumed by what you do. So that is best practice. And sidebar, reviewing your financial structure as a whole is paramount in your financial future. Don't take anything for granted. Don't just say, I got my money in my bank account and I'm fine. Look at your balance periodically. Look at the interest. Look at what's coming in and what's going out. This is just important. This is food for thought in general. Rebalancing without emotion. Rebalancing is one of the most misunderstood concepts in investing. It does not mean chasing winners. It does not mean panicking over loss. Rebalancing simply means returning to alignment, returning to your initial why. Why am I doing this? Over time, some investments grows faster than others. Rebalancing restores balance. So no single area carries more risk than others. Risk is going to be spread out. But the discipline is in the action and your response to the risk. So rebalancing say things like, I trust my plan more than my emotion. Therefore, my trust is powerful. Trusting in your plan, trusting in the process, trusting in yourself. The discipline of staying the course. So let's be honest. The hardest part of investing is not starting. It's not quitting. It's staying the course over time and in time. Not abandoning your plan during downturns, because that can be what you would naturally do and your natural reaction to a downturn in the market. Not chasing trends during hype. Not comparing your progress to someone else's highlight reels. We're not doing that. Most wealth is lost the moment of fear. When you start fearing what's happening and you start reacting to it. Most wealth is built in the moments of patience, in time, over time. The future planning mindset understand consistency beats intensity. You don't need to do more. You just need to stay aligned and stay the course. When life change, and it will, because life evolves, career shifts, family grows, priority realign, your investment strategy should evolve as well as you do. Not reactively, but thoughtfully. Has your timeline changed in your life? Do I need more stability or more growth? Am I honoring my current season of life? This is not failure. This is just simply responsiveness. A mature investor adapts without abandoning their foundation and their original reason for being, their original why. Measuring success beyond numbers. I hope I'm not overcomplicating this because I'm trying to simplify this. But Again, mindset is everything. So let's redefine success. Success is not just about account balances. It's peace of mind, reduce financial anxiety, confidence in your decisions, and freedom of choice. That's where we all want to be, is to be in a position that we have freedom of choice. When investing brings calm instead of chaos, you're doing it right. That's a good sign that you're doing right. Wealth is not just about accumulating things, but it's about protecting your investment. So, becoming the steward of your investment and your investment goals and your alignment. You are no longer at the beginning. You are no longer unsure. You are becoming a steward of your future. A steward moves with care, with patience, with perspective. You don't just rush the journey. You walk with intentions, review when it's time, rebalance when needed, and stay the course when doubt whispers. Because your life is, well, let's put it this way. Your life that you are preparing for is listening to your every move, your every word. And every steady step that you take today becomes relief for your concerns of tomorrow. So you want to stay grounded, stay disciplined, and stay present. You are building something that will lay the groundwork for your future success. And I believe in this strategy wholeheartedly, that if you lay down a plan, lay down goals, be consistent, and review, rebalance, change, adapt, grow, evolve, all those beautiful things, that you will, in fact, have the success that you want to have. That is my session for today. I hope it serves as encouragement to someone. I hope that this message made a difference to you. Please share it with someone who needs to hear it, because it may, in fact, make a difference to them. So important. Stay rooted. Stay blessed. Keep living life with kindness, clarity, and purpose. I am D. Wilder, and this is the Financial Fitness Friday, focusing on financial fitness for the future. And I bid you peace and blessings. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. And I hope that you guys have a blessed new year. Thank you. Let's see. Did we have any questions? Carol, no, don't check it. Good. So everybody stay with me today. Peace and blessings. You all have a wonderful new year.
High five. Did you see my question?
I did not.
I figured something was wrong because I kept asking questions on this device, and it wasn't coming up on the TikTok.
So what's happening? But then why you not texting me?
No, because it was nothing. It wasn't nothing important. But Carol asked a question.
You're Carol?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the question?
The question was, obviously, when she's new to investing, should she try a short-term goal investing just to test it, or should she do something long-term, like take a chance and do something long-term?
Well, give me an example of what short-term goal looks like to Carol.
So, meaning, let's say she wants to buy something. Should she try to use the investing for 6 months to target that goal of buying something, or should she just step in and just do the long term goal that you mentioned?
No, she can. She can because you know, in investing, we always tell individuals don't risk anything that you can't afford losing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, step out and take a chance. And the reason being is you want to feel the market.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see how the full cycle of the market works.
Okay, so 6 months would not be long enough.
It is long enough to make an assessment.
Okay.
It's not long enough to see a significant return,
Right. Yeah.
but you want to see the cycle.
Right.
You want to say, I invested in something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing it grow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing what's happening.
Right.
I'm seeing the fluctuation in the market.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing this and that. So you want to see that cycle because that builds the confidence
Mm-hmm.
in investing, in individual investing.
See, I asked. See, Carol, you could have answered my question.
Yeah, but you didn't ask it right. You didn't put it in the right space.
Yeah.
Which I told you because when we do it correctly,
Mm-hmm.
it brings life to the whole session.
Yeah.
I thought we already established that.
Well, this one you did. I want to do like a high five.
High five what?
This session was great. So I wrote some notes. So I love the fact that when you start, you took your time. You kept recapping, the last session because you was trying to, clarify the difference between the last session and this session.
Right.
You chose your words carefully. I like that. You even had some lighthearted laughter, and you kept clarifying the difference between the last session, this session, and what your goal is. So you kept doing that.
Right.
I like the fact that you provided numbers about the percentage of people that invest
Mm-hmm.
and people that have like 401ks and that was amazing. Yeah. So I like how when you first start, because I see the difference now. When you first start, you're like, it seemed like you're not on your script. So the flow is very different. It's lighthearted, you can connect, you can relate. But
Right.
once you start going into script, it's like it's classroom time. Get your pens ready.
Right.
That's the way it feels.
Mm-hmm.
But the session was great.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
And there's this one person named Danzy who stayed in the whole thing.
Oh, that's good. So you had mentioned last time that you felt it was a lot. Do you feel it was a lot today?
No, because it was structured this time. This time it was structured because, as I mentioned, you